Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabir, excited to have you for a political conversation on this fine Wednesday, International Women's Day. We appreciate all the women that do watch us and subscribe to this channel. We really do appreciate. This is our usual political conversations that are simple, truthful, putting them across in a hard-hitting manner. Mass action has lapsed. The ultimatum, it's up to Wednesday midnight. Tonight we will know whether the moves that will be made actually tomorrow on Thursday. And yesterday you saw what was happening within DCI headquarters. Matiang'i summoned Raila saying, how can you not allow me to get in? This is a public office. What is the situation in the country right now? Because there seems to be a lot of conversation of what the Azimio says, witch hunt against the people that support them and the previous administration. What is your feeling? You always say you have this pulse of the country. What is your feeling now?
There is tension in the country, palpable. And those in power should take a moment and look around them and reflect. And with the benefit of history, they should know that there are certain things you don't play around with. Yes. Even if you want to do something, timing is always important. With the mass action thing, why would you even enter this Matiang'i saga? Even if you really wanted to do something about Matiang'i. Why must it be around the ultimatum, lapse of the ultimatum? Why must it be so? You are creating unnecessary problems.
Don't you think it's all about, you are complaining about cost of living, you have given us an ultimatum, but now you want to tell the people that this cost of living was purely because of the actions that the previous administration had done. Therefore, give us some time. That's why you saw yesterday the controller of budget telling MPs that 15 billion she was made to sign 15 billion out without her knowing what she was actually doing.
So I don't know where to start. Allow me not to talk about that lady who says she paid out money on the basis of instruction from WhatsApp. Even an accounts clerk can't do that. I tweeted. So let me not go there, because you want to cry as a Kenyan. So let's not go there. How can you make payment of billions because you've been texted by WhatsApp? What kind of person?
She was told.
What kind of how?
His Excellency was asking.
No, things I always thought. I remember during the time called an inquiry, Mika Cheserem or something, governor of Central Bank. He made us laugh. He said, Moi will send somebody to you to do something like give him money or whatever it is. Yeah? Then later Moi will call you, tell you, so came here. Did you do what he said?
Yeah.
What he asked you because I told him. Then you'll say no. They say you would have been a very big fool. There are certain things you can't do because somebody has said, unless they are coercing you physically and your life is in danger. And in which case, if there was a gun over your head, after that you either resign, like Matella did. You say, I'm not going to do this. And nothing happened to her. She was a deputy governor of the Central Bank. Or you go into exile. She did nothing. She continued working. So that's a lie.
So when you listen to Margaret...
I don't want to go in that direction. And you see, whatever it is you are doing, you want to explain people why things are bad. Hungry people have no time for logic. The only logic they know is the stomach. So you cannot get Kenyans who are hungry, are with their children in the house, they have not gone to school. People are dying as they watch because they can't take them to hospital. They can't pay their bills, electricity bill, the electricity has been disconnected. Then you begin rationalizing with them. Logic, explaining. They don't want explanations. They want food on the table. They want to be able to restore the electricity, the power in the house. They want to take children to school. They don't want reasons. They don't want any logic.
If you're in Gachagua's place or Ruto's place and they know this is what was happening in the previous administration and you have been given this ultimatum, what would you have done? First, tell people this is the problem and how we are fixing it as they are doing. Yes. Or how would you have taken which route would you have taken?
I have said repeatedly with you and with the rest and on TV and in media. I write out in Nairobi Review website. I've said there are two things. There's a political thing to do and there's the economic thing to do. Fix the politics first. Everything else will be right. Simple. Fix the problem. That is between you and Raila and the last election. Sit down with opposition. Sort out the mess. That's the only language people can listen to. But I've also said, reduce the cost of living immediately. Not today, but yesterday. But I've also said this. If you do not reduce the price of essential commodities like maize, flour, unga, the cost of diesel and petrol, while you are on your feet, you will reduce them while you are on your knees. You will engage in actions that will make the situation worse every time you come up with an action. You think you'll be clever, you want to bring in maize, flour, unga because millers have refused to play your game. So you decide to bring in ready processed maize flour and it's GMO. You think now people will see it is cheap. Those things will not work.
What we are seeing...
Because there's a standing order from the courts about GMO. And if you bring maize flour and somebody takes some amount of that maize flour and takes it to a test, and it comes up with GMO, not only have you flouted the court order that is in existence, but that the people of Kenya may not allow you to go beyond one step. So, you see, when you are in a hole, stop digging. This thing has been said for many years. The government is in a hole. The government should stop digging.
Simple.
It's nothing.
When you look at the police...
Reducing the maize flour is not all these games they are trying to go into and making it a business. You know, in this country, from independence up to now, every opportunity is a business for people to make billions of shillings. You know that?
Yeah.
So when we are looking at the shortage of the problem with maize flour, others are seeing an opportunity to make billions. So if you look at the duty-free facility given to people to import, it's a game. It's people want to make money. Not today, not last year, not 10 years ago. It's been with us.
At what point
we close our factories, sugar factories, so there's need to bridge the gap of shortage of sugar.
I'm asking,
people have a field day.
This is a new administration. Can't we just trust that they probably have the best?
They are the same script. Same script. We've seen it over the years. The same script. Because if I want to reduce the price of maize flour, I'll just do it in a day. It's not difficult. You just do it in a day. What subsidies have worked across the world. I don't support them myself, I've said repeatedly. But we are in a state where government must step in whichever way, but not by bringing GMO flour, not by giving people an opportunity to make money, but by genuinely trying to sort out the price of unga. Genuinely. Government must look at the cost of diesel and say, what levies and taxes are on a liter of diesel which we can remove today and bring the price of diesel to 120. The price of petrol to 130, just for example, just talking figures. What is it? There's no time to listen to IMF and the World Bank.
What do you think is happening at State House now? What do you think they're planning? Because
they could think they are smart.
Police have blocked roads heading to State House.
I don't know. I've heard that on WhatsApp, but I don't know that is true.
It's true. I've seen
You cannot
photos.
block roads leading to State House. Those roadblocks operate under normal circumstances. Normal circumstances, we are all citizens of this country. We abide by the law. There is the rule of law. There is a constitution in operation. There are limits to all of us. There is the power the police enjoy. But when something has moved to the level of mass action, things are no longer normal. That roadblock is useless.
Useless?
Because a roadblock cannot block 10,000 people. It's common sense. A roadblock works when there is law and order, when things are normal. One policeman can stop 1,000 vehicles. They have all stopped on a roadblock. We have been to roadblocks. You are 100 vehicles. All of you have stopped. Normal. The police are inspecting vehicles. That's normal. Even 1,000. The queue can go from on Mombasa Road all the way to Mulolongo. You've seen that.
Yes.
And the police are doing their work. Because things are normal. But Raila is pushing this thing beyond what is normal to another level of a revolution. When a revolution is on, you don't operate within the existing normal. So a roadblock is useless.
So simple as that.
It's just simple.
So what
it's common sense.
From what you're
You don't
reading,
even need to be anything beyond a police constable to know.
You've analyzed politics for long. What do you think is happening in State House if this move has been...
The only two things that could be happening is, one, people at State House could think they are clever. Think we know how we can handle this. Think we can manage Raila. Think we can detain a few people. Think we can arrest a few people. Think we can use the police, the military. That's one way of thinking. So you can think you are smart. Or you can be trembling. Going to the toilet after every 5 minutes. So it can't be anything. Yes, we are all human beings. When you become president, you don't stop being a human being. No, even Jesus on the cross, what did he say? What did Jesus say?
My father, why have you forsaken me?
And before that, in the mountain, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is Jesus. So those of you who believe in Jesus, so we are all human beings. You can go to the toilet after every 2 minutes.
Tell me though, now we are waiting.
But as a law-abiding citizen, as a peace-loving Kenyan, and above all, as a Kenyan who loves this country, how I wish reason prevailed. How I wish reason prevailed. This is no time for bravado. No. This is no time for bravado on either side. Because let me repeat what I've said. I've said it many times. If we go into the next phase, which is phase of anarchy, when people are spilling in the streets of Nairobi and Mombasa and Kisumu and Eldoret, nobody gains. We are all losers. Not Raila, not Ruto, not the citizens of this country, not the politicians, not the business. No group of persons can benefit. The only people who benefit when there's a chaos in an African country are the Western powers. Because now they come for your resources. Yes.
Have you taken time to think about...
If one day I was on a plane from was it Angola? I think I was on a plane. I was the only black person.
Oh?
And I could not, I almost cried. All these wazungus on that plane. Was it coming from, was it somewhere, Southern Africa, quite some times back? Why I almost cried, all these young boys have come for the resources of Africa. And they are there because there's chaos. The target is DRC. And media and everything and focus and human rights and what have you are operating from Kenya. The West will have a field day if there's chaos in Kenya.
If someone asks you whether you...
They will have a field day.
Can you preempt what Raila is going to announce tomorrow?
I cannot. I talked to him yesterday, but I didn't ask that.
But based on what is happening... I was
just asking what was happening at DCI.
Yeah.
But I don't know about tomorrow.
From what
I wouldn't even want to be unfair to him. Even if I meet him now, I wouldn't want to be unfair. There are certain things you don't push somebody to tell you. That's being unfair.
But from your reading...
because I don't have the power to stop him.
From where we've reached as a country, we look at how Gachagua has been speaking on public podiums and President William Ruto, from where we are, and Raila yesterday furious because they were refusing to allow him in at DCI. What do you think will happen?
That's what I'm saying. We are in a bad state. When you are a government and you send a police constable to stop Raila from entering a government office, you can see how low it has gone. You are creating anarchy. You see Raila was visibly angry. You want to create anarchy. Because supposing somebody pushed Raila down and he fell down, and then he's being maybe, this is an old man like Manyora. There was a scuffle, I was trying to stand in between one boy pushed me. I landed in Nairobi hospital. Supposing you did that, then the word goes around everywhere in this city that Raila has been killed or Raila is injured. You are causing disaster. We must tell the government. You don't send a police constable to deal with somebody like Raila. It never happens in any country. The DCI himself anakuja. Na anaambia people open the door. Only Raila come in with your bodyguard. Let's go to my office. Serve him a cup of tea. Tell him Matiang'i is being interrogated. He's a Kenyan. He's not above the law. What do you think Raila will do? The director will tell him as much. But I know people fear facing people like Raila. You don't send a police constable to deal with a man like Raila in a gate. You are causing disaster. That gate can be pushed by those. There are not even many people. But in another 1 hour, you will have 10,000, 20,000 people. All will the police do.
Whatever announcement Raila will give tomorrow, whatever it will be, do you think he'll be justified to give whatever announcement he gives?
From his side, he's justified. And I understand. Okay? But from my side as a Kenyan, I want there to be voice of reason. Because I love the country. I'm mindful of the children of this country. Of our children and their children. But as a human being given a brain, having been given a brain by God, I can understand what Raila is up to. I can understand. I can equally understand why Ruto will be intransigent or obstinate about his, when you are in power, nobody wants to take your power. You can't allow people to take your power. That I understand. But doesn't stop me from appealing for reason because of the country, because of the children of this country.
That's why you have your live shows.
That's why I have live shows. Today I'm having one. Yes. That's why I have these live shows.
Kenya is too good.
Kenya is too good to go down. We want voice of reason. In fact, this is voice of reason 23. Kenya is too good to go down. And let me tell you this very, very finally. And I've said it repeatedly. God has been too nice to us. I'm telling you. And like Museveni said, God also doesn't have time for stupid people. And some bishop, some pope, I can't remember his name, you can Google. He said, stupidity is a gift from God. Don't misuse it. Yeah, don't misuse it.
What does that mean?
You can Google and find out what that means. Stupidity is a gift from God. Do not misuse it. It was said by a Catholic pope. Not this pope from Bungoma and the places like those. I'm trying to say this. Countries that have gone down around us and across the world have gone down for less serious challenges than the one we face today. No country can willingly allow its citizens, no government can and should willingly allow situations that will spill citizens into the streets. When you see citizens in the streets, normally and usually it is because it's a spontaneous reaction to something. Spontaneous. Very few governments in the world will see this thing coming and they allow it to come. Because you can't control it. That's not to say you are a coward. That's to say you put country first. You are the president and from State House, you can see the children of this country. You should say what Goodluck Jonathan said when he was going for his second term and he didn't get. He said there was so much he could have done to retain power. But he said, I can't paraphrase him well enough. Power was not inviting enough for him to invite trouble to the people of Nigeria. He could not love power so much that knowingly he could allow bloodshed in Nigeria. Because of that power. So, and Moi said it many times that kuna siku nimefunga break that alikuwa nafunga break ila angeachilia na nchi inachomeka. That's what it means to be in power. That you have so much power when you are in the White House. You have so much power when you are in State House that you must always be continuously aware that you should use that power to the benefit of the country. It may call for constraint and restraint. It may mean allowing people to think you are a coward, but you know how much is in your hands. That's what it means to be president of a country like Kenya. It is knowing how much the future of this country depends on you. And how in a moment of anger, hell can break loose. So you restrain yourself and constrain yourself. Let people call you a coward. Say, where this country has reached, I think we need to sit down as a country and have a conversation.
Is that what we were saying with Uhuru as we wind up? People saying, crack the whip.
People say so many things about the handshake. But look how it's, why we are here. We are talking. Maybe we could not be here. Maybe I will be a refugee in Angola. Yes, it is that simple. Please, I know you don't have time. Allow me 1 minute. I invite Kenyans. Please, I invite Kenyans. Middle class, these talking people from Azimio, from Kenya Kwanza, UDA, these noise makers. Visit some refugee camps and get stories. I've been to several refugee camps. I've read stories from refugee camps. Let me give you this story as the last one because you don't have time. Around 1979 or thereabouts, I was a young boy, young man, high school just finished or something, around 70 something. There was trouble in Uganda. I think the time Amin was being chased, not when he was entering, when he was being chased. There was an influx of refugees. In fact, there were more refugees from Uganda when Amin left than when Amin took power. So they were housed in Kakamega Showground, Buhungu Showground, near Buhungu Stadium, the showground. And I want Kenyans to listen to this. It's the true story. I think most of them, because of Amin, a good number were Muslims. And I think the Arab League or something, Friends of the Arab or something like that, an organization like that, came in to try and help these people settle. They had just landed the week they were landing. We were some of the people hired to organize a few things there to distribute reliefs. The Ugandan people in the refugee camp were trying to supplement what the government and the Arabs were doing, Arab League or Friends of the Arab, to feed them by having their own money changed into Kenya shillings. The story I saw, which I want to share with Kenyans, is this. A man would walk into a place where somebody can change money for them. That man will refuse to change money for him. And they will ask them to send their wife.
Why?
I'm telling you. Don't ask me why. You seem to be younger than you should be. You come for assistance, but I tell you send your wife. I leave it to Kenyans. If they think this thing is easy, and they want to see it with their eyes, they will see it. And God will not be there for you. God has been too kind to us. Do not play with situations that disturb the law and the order we are used to. I tell Kenyans, when you wake up and do your teeth, your tie, and go to the office, you know, we take these things for granted and come back to your children in the evening and pick them. Hi, daddy, how was the day? We take these things for granted. If you talk to people, I wish we had time. I taught us a UT. Please,
let's just talk.
Let's just talk because I'm feeling pained. I taught us a UT in Mudavadi Secondary School. Grand Mula say I was staying in Ebusaka Secondary School. So I was a UT in Mudavadi Secondary School. And that time, very few schools had government teachers anyway. Most schools were called Harambe schools, started by the communities. Now like Munzazi where I was. Today we call them CDF schools. Even today they don't have many TSC teachers. They just have one headmaster and maybe deputy. The rest are paid by the board, 4,000, 5,000. Now, in the 70s and early 80s, most of those teachers were either Indians who had come to look for green pastures here, or, as was the case, Ugandans. Ask anybody who went to school, even in these big schools. In the early 80s and 70s, ask your parents. They must have been taught by Ugandan teacher. Now, Kenyans should listen to me. These are people I was teaching with. We taught with the people who had been ministers in government. Earning the 800 shillings we were earning. Yes. 600 shillings. 1,000 shillings. People who had been permanent secretaries. I taught with somebody who had been a minister from Ethiopia. Ethiopia or Sudan, one of those I've forgotten. General Garang, the Mabior. Go to Karatina, there's a school he taught there. Dr. Garang.
Allah.
I'm asking Kenyans not to take these things for granted. That's why I ask you for this extra minute. That's not all. And I want Kenyans to listen. There's a man called Kinyera Parod or something, the name, from Uganda. He's the one who taught us how to play cards in the school. Until the headmaster almost sacked all of us. We got so hooked to the cards, we couldn't leave them. But this is what from him and others. Do you know the world then didn't have a telephone, mobile telephone? The world wasn't as open as it is today. Do you know what, Jad? Do you know somebody was doing his 3rd year? Since he ran from Uganda or somewhere, he didn't know where the wife was. He didn't know where any of his children was. Please, Kenyans, I'm telling you, let us not play with situations of this nature. You are with somebody, he has finished 3 years since he ran away from Uganda or wherever he ran from. He doesn't know where the wife is, whether they are alive or dead.
But when you say that, people say you're spreading fear.
No, it's not fear, it's reality. We don't have information about things. We need to know things. And therefore, what I'm trying to say, not fear. We embrace the peace we'll have. And we thank God every passing minute for giving us a great country. And when dear, we do everything possible within our reach to love this beautiful country we were given by God. And to make sure we leave it to our children to enjoy what we have also enjoyed, a peaceful country. That's not fear. I'm just saying the reality. You don't need to be a person who has done literature, read history. Read about German, about stories from Poland, about people who are uniting after 30 years. This is not fiction. This is there.
Well, we better wrap it up.
But on a good note,
yeah,
Kenya should be peaceful.
Yeah.
Whatever they want, even if they push through mass action, let us try to make everything as peaceful as is humanly possible, because at the end of the day, whatever you are fighting to have, whether you are Raila or Ruto, it can only be enjoyed if there's peace in the country.
Yeah.
And if the people of this country are happy.
The Voice of Reason 2023. Until we do have this conversation again, my name is Jadel Kibera. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.